It is not yet time to demand that the Kremlin agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine. This opinion was expressed by the US President in comments to journalists before his visit to the United Kingdom. At the same time, he said that ending Russia's war against Ukraine should be facilitated by a drop in oil prices.
It seems that now is not the time to ask Putin for a ceasefire. If I have to demand a ceasefire, I will take tough measures. It is necessary to further lower oil prices. If oil prices fall, the war between Russia and Ukraine will end.
The US president also stated that if Europe acted decisively against China, Beijing might have forced Russia to stop the war against Ukraine.
If Europe had done something regarding China, I think China probably could have forced an end to the war in Ukraine.
The US president also reiterated his point that the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, and the Ukrainian leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, have a terrible relationship and hate each other.
I mean, ending the war largely depends on their relationship. They really don't like each other. They hate each other. Let's see what happens next. I think we'll find a solution.
Trump emphasized that he is disappointed in Putin and admitted that he considered the war in Ukraine the easiest to resolve.
I thought the war in Ukraine would be the easiest option because of my relationship with President Putin. But he let me down. He really let me down.
Trump stated that Putin is killing a lot of people and is losing more people than he is killing. The US president expressed hope that the incident involving a drone entering Poland from the Russian Federation was caused by a loss of control over the UAV.
I can't comment on that. They shouldn't have been there. They were disabled. The biggest attack on a drone is disabling it.
At the same time, the US president stated that Russia's aggression against Ukraine will be brought to an end. And he added that he is counting on good news regarding a peaceful settlement in Ukraine.
Allies have come up with an alternative to NATO for Ukraine. Since Kyiv has little chance of joining the alliance, its Western allies have adopted an alternative strategy to help repel Russian aggression, writes the Washington Post. The publication notes that this refers to military investments in Ukraine's defense industry so that it can better defend itself. It is noted that if this strategy works, then Ukraine's defense industry will eventually be able to help equip the American and European armies with modern drones and other military equipment that is being developed in the context of the war with Russia. The article states that one of the latest achievements in Ukraine's domestic arsenal is a quadcopter drone capable of bypassing Russian jamming devices, flying more than 20 kilometers, and dropping 6 kilograms of guided explosives on tanks and other valuable targets. Ukrainians are also world leaders in drone technology. Currently, the US is working with Ukrainians to ensure the exchange of drone technologies, which is very important, said Keith Kellogg, the Trump administration's special envoy to Ukraine, at a press conference in Kyiv. Meanwhile, the European Commission has adopted the 19th package of sanctions against Russia, said European Commission spokesperson Paola Pinho, as reported by The Guardian. As part of the package of measures, the EU is lowering the oil price cap to $47.60 per barrel and is banning the import of Russian liquefied gas into Europe. A complete ban on transactions has been imposed on Rosneft, Gazprom Neft, and other companies, including some in China. Sanctions are also being imposed against another 118 ships of the Shadow Fleet, as well as blocking operations for a number of banks in Russia and third countries. The president of Kazakhstan has left for a working visit to the United States to participate in the 80th United Nations General Assembly. Earlier, at the Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions in Astana, he stated that the likelihood of Armageddon is high. This is exactly how Tokayev spoke about the risks of nuclear conflict. The president of Kazakhstan has repeatedly spoken about the importance of nuclear disarmament and that the risk of using nuclear warheads is increasing. And this could happen due to miscalculation, accident, or escalation. The country that likes to threaten with nuclear weapons is the Russian Federation. The country's top leadership has repeatedly threatened to launch weapons of mass destruction against peaceful nations. Meanwhile, Tokayev stated that Kazakhstan does not intend to join BRICS. According to him, he is guided by pragmatic considerations and believes that partner status in the organization is sufficient. He noted that the question is about the usefulness of full membership. And he pointed out that BRICS has neither a charter nor a secretariat nor any programs. Back in 2022, the president of Kazakhstan personally stated in the presence of Russian President Vladimir Putin that he does not recognize the quasi-state entities in Donbass.
We do not officially recognize the independent statehood of Taiwan, nor the self-proclaimed independence of Kosovo, nor the disputed territory of South Ossetia, nor the breakaway region of Abkhazia. And quite apparently, this established principle of non-recognition will also be consistently applied to other similar quasi-state territories, which, in our considered view, unequivocally include the regions of Luhansk and Donetsk, both of which are currently experiencing significant geopolitical tensions and international scrutiny.
The director of the Institute for Strategic Security Studies, Pavel Lyusyansky, stated that Russia wants to seize 3 northern regions of Kazakhstan. That is precisely why President Tokayev went against the dictator Vladimir Putin. He noted that in Kazakhstan, they have always understood the danger coming from the Russian Federation.
The border between Russia and Kazakhstan has come to a standstill. At 3 customs checkpoints on both sides, multi-kilometer-long traffic jams of trucks have formed. There are no official explanations from either side, only rumors about new procedures and additional inspections. The Russian portal Business FM also reported on the traffic jams at the border. A businessman contacted their editorial office and reported queues at the border crossings, which, by modest estimates, will take a week to get through. The entrepreneur clarified that at least 5,000 trucks have gathered at the checkpoints on each side, and the traffic jam is at a standstill, barely moving. According to the businessman, previously it took 10 to 15 minutes to inspect one truck at the border, but now vehicles are waiting for hours. Rumors are circulating in the queue that on the Russian side, the delays may be related to a new system for processing documents for all foreigners entering the country, who are now required to obtain a RUID through the government services portal and notify authorities of their entry 72 hours in advance. And on the Kazakh side, they are reportedly conducting more thorough cargo inspections and searching for Chinese dual-use goods. At the same time, the president of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, spoke about the risks of nuclear conflict at the Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions in Astana.
Experts currently assess the likelihood of such a catastrophic Armageddon as the highest it has been in recent decades. Unfortunately, instead of constructive initiatives and a policy of genuine détente, confrontational thinking is steadily gaining significant momentum in the world. Geopolitical rifts are noticeably widening, and social tension is progressively growing.
The president of Kazakhstan has repeatedly spoken about the importance of nuclear disarmament. In May of this year, citing international experts, Tokayev stated that the risk of the use of nuclear warheads is increasing and that this could happen due to miscalculation, accident, or escalation. At the same time, one of the favorite threats of Kazakhstan's neighboring country, Russia, is the use of nuclear weapons, the quality and accuracy of which is open to debate. The armed forces of Ukraine flooded and damaged a pipe that Russian invaders were trying to use to advance toward Kupiansk. Our artillery is stopping their attempts to move forces across the Oskil River by boat. This was reported by the Operational Command North of the Ukrainian ground forces. It is noted that the situation in the Kupiansk direction remains tense. The city is a strategic target for the enemy.
The gas pipeline has been damaged and flooded.
Ukrainian public pages are massively posting videos. It is claimed that barbed wire has appeared inside the pipes through which the occupiers are crawling toward Kupiansk. Such engineering barriers are being laid by ground drones of the Ukrainian armed forces. Let us recall that on September 12th, Deep State reported that Russian troops are entering Kupiansk through a gas pipeline. This is already the 3rd case, after Avdiivka and Sudzha, where the occupiers have used gas pipelines to infiltrate the rear of the Ukrainian armed forces. According to Deep State, the Russians have built an entire logistical artery.
The entrances to the pipeline are located in the area of Lyman Pershai. Specially designed wheeled cots are used for moving inside the pipeline, as well as electric scooters where the height allows. The route to the outskirts of Kupiansk takes about 4 days. Therefore, special rest areas and food supplies have been set up along the way.
It is claimed that in this way, organized enemy groups were able to reach Radkivka without significant losses, and from there move south into the forest they control. After that, they dispersed in Kupiansk and made their way to the railway. According to the Operational Command North, counter-sabotage measures are currently being carried out. Our defenders are blocking and destroying the enemy in the forests, dacha settlements near Kupiansk, and in the surrounding areas of the city. Prisoners testify to the lack of clear combat order among the invaders, the report notes.
There has been another earthquake in Kamchatka.
And it's shaking again, quite noticeably even now, and it shook pretty hard indeed with considerable force.
When is this finally going to stop, huh? How long has it been? Every day it's already turning into some kind of nightmare. According to the US Geological Survey, the earthquake had a magnitude of 7.8. Later, the region's governor, Vladimir Solodov, stated that according to updated data, it was 7.2. The new earthquake triggered a series of tsunami warnings in the region. Experts are predicting possible waves up to 1.5 meters high. Eyewitnesses complain that it's very hard to get used to such earthquakes. One of the local residents said that this isn't the first time he's experienced an earthquake.
The forecasts, of course, are discouraging, you could say. I was born here, have lived for 66 years, and I know Kamchatka well. It's a shame, of course, that now my grandchildren have become afraid of all these earthquakes. Well, you know, it's been shaking for 2 months already.
Another local resident shared her experience of living through the earthquake.
And everything started swaying more and more strongly, really very strongly. All the bottles and creams fell off my dressing table. The experience, of course, was terrifying.
This is not the first earthquake in Kamchatka this year. On July 30th, an earthquake with a magnitude of 8.8 became the strongest in the world in the past 14 years and the strongest in the region since 1952. Over the following 2 weeks, several more less powerful earthquakes occurred in the region. The largest of these was the earthquake on September 13th, whose magnitude was estimated between 7.1 and 7.7. Military and political expert Alexander Musienko reports that there is a theory that the powerful earthquake and tsunami near Kamchatka were caused by an explosion carried out by the Russian Federation.
In this way, they, with China, want to test the capabilities of a new dangerous weapon that is capable of causing natural disasters and catastrophes. This could be tectonic or nuclear weaponry.
Meanwhile, the Telegram channel CHP Kamchatka reports that on September 19th, the Shiveluch volcano became active. It spewed ash up to 4.5 kilometers high. The ash plume stretched 20 kilometers to the north of the volcano.